All right, guys, welcome to Optimizing Florida, guys, where we discuss all things optimize related, guys. Um, so I'm gonna make a live stream. Haven't had a chance to make one in a while. I will make another live stream today, and today we're gonna just kind of talk about things as usual, right? Kind of rant about random stuff that's on my mind. Um, so yeah, guys. So pretty much today, where we're gonna kind of go over, I guess, is I always say mind state, and maybe the theme of the day is acceptance, or maybe just like learning how to deal with things that happen in the world, right? That, like, I think that's still a problem that I always have. Oftentimes, it's like it's often not clear how to deal with things that you find unpleasant, right? I would say it's probably like 50% of the battle of being a human being. It's like there are things that happen in the world that upset us, and then it's like we just have to, like, you don't know how to process it, right? And like for me, my thing is like I want to fix the problem, I want to do whatever, analyze it, and just sometimes that just doesn't work, right? So it's like it's an interesting thing to think about. And again, I think, we live in very uncertain times right now with, artificial intelligence, with AI getting better than ever. There's more mass firings than there's ever been. There's a whole host of things in the world that are so uncertain right now. So like I think this is a very critical thing. How do we perceive things, and how do we come to terms with the things that we feel, right? Like sometimes like we're just very upset, or we're just stuck in our own minds, and we just can't seem to like get a grip on ourselves. Like sometimes you just have to be like, stop, just like there is no answer, and you just have to be okay with the fact that there is no answer, right? It's a very difficult thing to accept. It's like in the same way that, like, I would imagine, like imagine like you have the death sentence, right? Like, and you just like know, like, I don't want to die, right? Like, but you are going to die, right? And then he goes to the chamber, and he's getting ready to get strapped in, and he's going to probably get killed, right? Like I would imagine that's a terrifying experience. But it's going to happen, right? So it's like I think a lot of human suffering has to do with our inability to come to terms with things that don't always agree with us, or maybe it's a very difficult thing to accept. I don't really know like what that means, but but a couple things come to mind. I would say over this last week or this last 2 weeks, and the first thing I think about is, I was seeing this on Instagram a lot lately. A lot of people are always talking about their standards, right? They're always telling people what their standards are. These are my standards. My standards for you are this. I expect this of you, and I want this of you. You expect these things from other people. And the first thing I asked myself was, are those people following their own standards? And I could probably safely say they're not following their own standards, because one of the things about standard, guys, is it's really hard to follow your own standards, right? So one of the things I started doing, guys, is I'm going back to my to-do list. So I write down the things that I want to get done, and then I write how many Pomodoros it's going to take me. So I'm going to turn on a timer right now, like I've been doing for like the last 7 years. And I'm slowly but surely getting back to the person I used to be. I'm used to getting things done. I'm used to accomplishing things. I'm used to being productive. Those are the things I'm used to. And one of the things I was always big about, like 4 years ago, before I had this like mind state shift, if you will, was I always talked about my expectations for other people. And that's fantastic. But the reality is that like I wasn't accomplishing the very things I'm claiming I was accomplishing. So in this sense, you're a fraud, right? So I would say that, I would say just be very careful about sharing your expectations with other people. Okay. There's nothing wrong with having expectations, but I think like it's better to not say what those expectations are. Hold yourself as closely as you can towards your expectations. Okay. And then you can expect that of others if you are doing it yourself. If you're not doing it yourself, then you can't expect other people to follow you. If you're not running 4 days a week, I can't expect another person training with them. I'm with them in the trenches, right? So, just like, it was really interesting. I was listening to these Instagram reels, all these girls saying all these things they expect of men. I don't really want to get into like this red pill discussion, but like, they're like, it's basic ass shit to like buy a girl flowers. It's basic ass shit to do all this different stuff. And it's like, from your perspective, it's basic stuff, right? Like, but what if a guy just doesn't want to do that? Like, does that make him a bad person? Like, what if he has a different perspective on the world? Maybe he values the world differently than you do, right? It's like, and it's kind of cringe when you expect people to meet your expectations. Nobody has to meet your expectations, okay? Like, you can expect things of people. I would like for people to do things. I would like people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would like people to pay for coaching, right? Or give me money, right? All these different things. But I can't force you to. I would like you to. I would like the world for people to be nicer, or we can want these things, but we can't force these things. Okay. And that for me, it can be quite challenging because it's like in your head, you're like, well, it makes sense to me. How come it doesn't make sense to them? You know what I mean? So it's like, I would say that just we have boundaries, we have expectations that we keep to ourselves, that we pride to ourselves. But I'm not going to expect a person to follow every fucking boundary 100% of the time, because everyone's going to fail at some fucking point. Okay. Like I would say in chess terms, right? The ability to follow your schedule is very difficult. To follow a damn schedule, it's not that easy to follow your schedule every day. So I think that like, I don't really know what the point of this live stream is, but I think one is we should manage our expectations. We can expect things, but we also have to understand, are those expectations realistic with the current reality, right? If you're getting a life sentence in prison, you expect to be a billionaire, they would call you delusional. It's not happening, guys. At some point, you do have to be realistic, guys. Like, I am like 29, right? On a good day in chess, I might get to 2,100, 2,200, right? Maybe. And if I'm really fantastic, 2,300. But I'm not going to get to 3,000 ELO. I'm under no delusion that it may happen. Okay. Could it happen if I realistically could it realistically happen if I give the respect to that goal? Absolutely. If I dedicate myself 12 hours a day to the task, I can expect I will get better. I can expect that I will become more capable in chess, but other things will suffer. So an unrealistic expectation would be like, I expect to be a millionaire. I expect to fucking become a grandmaster at chess. Like have a perfect family, personal life, right? Not going to happen. One of those things will suffer. One of those things will suffer because of your pursuit of those other things. Okay, it's inescapable. It's like, if I get into singing, right, guys? That's something I've been interested in. I'm kind of interested in learning how to sing because I think it's really cool. I'm not expecting to become like Ariana Grande, right? Like I won't expect to become amazing. Or if I train boxing, MMA, jiu-jitsu, all this stuff, am I going to be great at all these things? Absolutely not. Okay. It's cool to learn. It's a practical skill. It's something I would like to accomplish. And there's a goal in mind to become more lethal, to be able to protect myself. But I'm under no delusion that I can beat an MMA fighter, right? I sparred against an MMA fighter and he kicked my ass, right? I was under no delusion that I was going to beat him. Like I fully expected to get my ass kicked, and he could have if he wanted to. Okay. I was under no delusion that that was going to happen. So we can have our expectations, but we also have to learn how to manage our expectations. And I guess like there's the other component, right? It's like being upset about something. That's like it's an interesting feeling, right? You get upset, you're like, well, I'm upset right now. Like I'm upset and it's like, what the fuck? Like this is stupid. And like you start cussing, you're pissed off, and you're like, this is unfair. And just like you want to like part of you wants to attack the other person, right? You're like, I'm very upset right now, right? Like it's very upsetting to be like not get the things that you want, right? So it's like I don't have a good answer as to like how you learn to do that. I don't know like what the answer is. Um, one second, like, but like realistically, it's just something that I guess maybe we're not always conscious of because I think sometimes I can get upset myself with something and I didn't even realize that I'm upset. I'm like, damn, I must be upset right now, but I won't even acknowledge that I'm upset. I'm just like, I'm upset right now, right? So it's like it's okay to acknowledge if you're upset. Like you're probably going to be upset if your wife, doesn't agree with you on something important, right? Like she disagrees with you, she thinks it's dumb, and you're like, well, that sucks. Like I thought it was really cool. Okay, so it's like, so I think that's one of the themes is I don't know like what the answer is in terms of managing being upset, um, but there is a component, and then there was something I realized today, right? I was like, well, I'm upset today. There's nothing I can do about the situation. So I just have to accept the situation is the situation. Sometimes we just have to accept things are what they are. And, just like you can always keep trying to change things, but at some point, people will react a certain way. And that's just how they are. Sometimes Joe is just a jerk and he can't help himself. You know what I mean? Like he's just going to be a dickhead. And it's just like, you could slap the shit out of him, but it's like, would he still be a dickhead after I slapped the shit out of him? Probably he'd still be a dickhead. So it's like me hitting him is not going to accomplish anything. I could do it if I wanted to, but it's like it doesn't really do anything. Um, so I guess like we want to avoid being stuck in these cycles that are futile, right? It's something that I've had a very difficult time with myself. Is just there's always this futility that we feel like we're battling at times. It's like we always want to feel like we're making a sense of progress in the world, and the world doesn't agree with our sense of progress, right? Like chess does not agree with me that I want to be better. It's clear that chess does not agree with me, right? And then I get very frustrated. I'm like, oh shit, I lost these games. And sometimes you just have to be okay with the fact that these things are not always going to agree with you. Like sometimes these things just don't happen. Okay, so that's something I've been learning in the second quarter of 2026 is just trying to learn that the world doesn't agree with you. The world actively, I would say, if anything, it will actively disagree with you. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to talk about. So like, what does this amount to in terms of like optimizing for it, right? Like that's the objective, getting back to optimization, getting back to systems, routines, and habits with these new insights that I've learned over the last 3 years, getting into a better level than ever before, getting at a higher level, right? We're trying to go higher, not lower. So we're always trying to hold our progress, but not lose progress and trying to fail forward, as I would like to say. I want to fail forward. I want to learn something. I want to progress or, whatever that may be and whatever that amounts to. But there's also managing our expectations, learning that the world, like I know it sounds very obvious. The world is obviously it's a very tough place. It's a very cold, harsh place. You know what I mean? It's like it's very tough at times. I mean, I've probably known that since I was like 16 years old, I would say. So I've never really had an issue accepting that the world is a very tough and difficult place. Um, but like, just maybe something to think about. Go about your day. If your girlfriend says something to you, you're really upset. You're just like, fuck, I'm really mad right now. Just just accept that she said something that upset you and just let it be for the timing. Sometimes you just have to let things be. Just be. Sometimes it's a really hard thing. It's a very difficult skill to do. Sometimes you just have to be and let the world be as it is. And then sometimes you'll find answers to things that you didn't realize you discovered. Um, Another thing is having an awareness of the world, right? I think a lot of us are not aware of the world as much as we would like to be, right? So, like, if you're at like a job and it sucks, but like you need the check, just stay at the job, guys. I can't tell you how many times I made that mistake. Just stay at the job. Like, I know it sucks, but like if there's not like an obvious way out or there's not like an obvious path, just grind it out until we can come up with a measurable plan. Okay. I want some measurability. Okay. And that's another thing I want to come back to is I want to really measure where I'm at. Okay. I've tried to avoid measuring stuff because measuring can be quite depressing at times. You're like, well, shit, I'm not making as much progress as I would have liked to make. Right. So it's like, it's a very interesting thought that you're not always making the progress you want to make, but you just have to learn to, the reality is, guys, is that probably for most of us, we probably have some type of cognitive distortion of reality on some fundamental level. There's probably something about our biases or about our perspectives that will likely never be understood. Probably not in the way that you understand that, and you have to accept that that's just the way it is. Okay. So I'm not really sure what else I want to add to this live stream. So I would say manage your expectations. Let people do what they're going to do. Your boss is going to do exactly what your boss is going to do. Okay. People are going to do what they're going to do. You can't stop what people will do. You can only respond in the best way that you can. Okay. And the best we can do is have gratitude for where we find ourselves. I can be grateful for the opportunities I'm being given. I can in hopes that they will reciprocate that same courtesy. I can hope people will be nice to each other, but they're not obligated to be nice to me. And if they're not nice, I don't give a shit. I'll just fucking ignore them or I'll beat them up, whatever, right? So it's like just like contemplating this stuff, being aware of it is very critical. Okay. Like I would say operate on this autopilot mode. I can go about my day, guys. I'm always aware of this all day long. I know it. I've known it for like 7-10 years, but I'm never under the delusion that everyone is going to be out for my goals. I'm never under the delusion that the other people want to accomplish the things I want to accomplish. I'm never under the delusion that people care about my interests. Okay. I'm not even remotely even like, I would say like aware or concerned that people care about the things that I care about. Okay. The most you can do is present the things that we're interested in and live it as authentically as possible. And I would say that's my final thing, guys. Just be as authentic as you can with people. Don't lie to people. Don't be dishonest. Just be authentic with people. If you think something is genuinely cool, just say it's cool and just do it with your genuine enthusiasm. Like if you think math is cool, do math. If you think, like drawing is cool, do that. You know what I mean? Just like, I feel like a lot of us are not as authentic as we could be, just be authentic. I'm not saying like don't like blur out dumb stuff, but like just be authentic with people. Try to present the same person that you talk to everybody. There really shouldn't be a big difference. It should be very consistent. Like the person that I am on this camera is basically the same person I am when I talk to any random person. I could talk to you. I will carry the same demeanor, carry the same message, and carry the same enthusiasm and the same energy. I'm not flip-flopping different energies or different positions. I'm just going to keep it very constant so you know what you're getting, right? I think that's another thing that people are having an issue with is that we're not being totally authentic. You know what I mean? Like at some point, guys, like the thing is, we also got to realize that, like at some point, guys, people at some point are just going to stop caring about you. I know it sounds terrible, but I want you to, this would be my final thought here. At some point, guys, I know it's unfortunate, but we do live in an ageist society, guys. People who are older are not as valued as people that are younger, unfortunately. They're not like as prioritized, unfortunately. Like a lot of older people who live in convalescent homes are not given that same consideration because they're seen as less able. They're on their way out. They're not as valued because, like they're aging. Okay. Like aging is not an enjoyable experience. Okay. You're going to age at some point. You probably won't be attractive anymore. Okay. I won't be attractive forever either. I'm under no delusion that I will stay attractive. Okay. I can maintain my attraction, hopefully. But like, like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like a lot of these things that we they're like unspoken truths, but we just don't say them enough. Like like if you're 20 right now and you're watching this, at some point you will be 40. You go to a club, that 20-year-old might think you're gross, even though it's of legal age, right? She'd be like, you have 20 years on me. I'm not interested in you, right? So there's always this dualistic dynamism in the human life that it's a very beautiful thing. Like human life is a very it's a very interesting story. There was a good book on this, The Warrior, the King, and the Magician. I read this book a long time ago, and it talks about this, that as a man you had different phases that you went through, different archetypes. You became the magician, you became the lover, you became the king, you became all these different things at different phases in your life. And that's what every person, male or female, will go through, is you will go through these different phases. When you're 18, you are at the peak of your ability. You have the best regenerative ability you will ever have. You will have the fastest mind you will probably ever have. Probably the best memory retention that you will ever have. And then slowly but surely, life will take this away from you because life is reminding you that you don't get to have this ability forever. And then you will age. And then life is reminding you that you have a lease on your life. It was a lease. It wasn't permanent. And it's like it's a lease and it's temporary. And that's something that's obviously a very terrifying thought. Obviously it terrifies me as well. And at some point, this cognitive experience that I'm experiencing will unfortunately have to end at some point. But that's what makes life beautiful, right? If it went on forever, then what's the point, right? Like if we just had an unlimited amount of time, then there's no beauty in the temporariness of it all, right? And that's the other thing about optimizing a life. What is that really about? It's really just trying to make the most of whatever we have. That's one of my favorite sayings. I always want to make the most of wherever I find myself. Whatever it is I can do is what I can do. Like if I have a shovel, if I have a toothpick, I will dig a fucking hole in the ground. If I have to dig with my fingers, I don't give a shit. I want to be able to make the most of what I can, where I can, regardless of where I find myself. Okay. It's much more difficult than it sounds to make the most of where you find yourself, when you find yourself. Can I make the most of my relationship that I've been given? Can I make the most of the army, or can I make the most of this job? Can I make the most of the people around me? Ask yourself this question. Can you do it? It's actually very difficult to do. Ask yourself, the very people that support you, that listen to you, have you made the most of them? Okay, like really think about that. And the answer is, unfortunately, we don't make the most of it. We're very complacent. We've been very arrogant. We're not like, we take things for granted, right? Like it's like we go through the motions at times, and obviously it's not ideal, but we do have to make the most of these things. Um, and I guess that'll be my final thought. is that really life is like this thing we're given that we don't ask for. It's a lease. We have a lease. Life is like, here you go. Here's a lease for you. You have 80 years on the planet. Do what you may with this. Wear this randomized situation that life gives you. And then pretty much from there, you're just like this artificial intelligence just going through life, interacting with random people, just doing different types of stuff. Like the funny part is like in philosophy, right? One of my favorite subjects in epistemology, right? There's this thing called the search for truth, right? Well, the funny part about it, guys, there is no truth. Like there's no like overarching meaning in this reality. It's just the meaning we make for ourselves. But then there's the desire to find meaning in all this chaos, right? We find ourselves on this interesting world, this planet called Earth. And like honestly, it's like absolutely incredible that I have the ability to make a video right now to talk to you. It's mind-boggling that I can do this, and then we can talk. And even my words can't accurately convey the probability of me being able to talk to any audience. And this video will, go out into the cosmos as radio waves, and some like travel thousands of light years, and someone may find this video and listen to it, and they will hear an unspeakable language of an extinct race that tried to make the most of this thing we call Earth, right? So it's like, I don't really know what all this amounts to. I don't think anyone really knows what the answer is, but at a minimum, I think every human, we should try to raise the collective consciousness of every fellow human as much as we can. Everyone around us should try to be aware. I think we should be thoughtful. We should be empathetic to each other. We should try to give welfare to one another. We should accept our limitations. We should also, just accept that we're just simply flawed creatures. We're just flawed as humans. We are just limited. We're very limited creatures. There's only so many things we can do. We're not invincible. We're just people, and we can do cool stuff while we're here, and then we get to go away. I don't know if anyone needs to hear this message, or if it maybe gets you to think about something in a different way. But if it does, then I will have accomplished my objective. That's all I have for you guys for optimizing forward. I hope you like this live stream. Now, how do I end this here? I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure out how to. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to end this live stream here, but.